It seems like just another day outside Buckingham Palace with the crowds gathered. In fact, it's an extraordinary day for the royal family after the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor on suspicion of misconduct with his public duties. And that relates to his work as a trade envoy and his access to confidential government information and the release of files by the Department of Justice in the United States suggesting that Andrew was forwarding some of that confidential information to his friend, the sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. I found it really interesting talking to British people here about how they see what's been happening.
I didn't think so, no. I thought he'd go into hiding and get away with it. Yeah, so, no, that's all I've got to say, really. I'm pleased.
But hopefully he gets what he deserves, which is, if it's life in jail, then it's life in jail.
They don't have any time at all for Andrew. Some of them are saying that he should have faced these kinds of charges or accusations or investigations years ago. At the same time, some are aware that some of this information has only recently emerged.
I believe it was 3 o'clock in the morning when we got the call from Virginia's very dear friend and publicist, Jeannie von Muffling, who has been partnering with us throughout this journey. And it was such a mixed bag of emotions. I think initially we were vindicated and screaming at one point at 3 a.m. And then, it just hits you, that gut punch of the fact that she's not here to see this, that we're not able to call her and tell her how astronomically proud we are of her. And so days like this are always such a big mix of emotions, but the thing that we say every day is it's so hard to get wins during this fight, and so when they come, live in them and really enjoy them and celebrate them, and this is a victory for Virginia.
I think we're very hopeful that this is the start of the domino effect. This is where the house of cards starts falling. And, kudos to the UK for taking the first step, for saying, you know what, we are going to arrest somebody who is held to one of the highest esteems out there, somebody who was a former prince.
One of the core principles in our system is that everybody is equal under the law and nobody is above the law. And it is really important that is applied across the board.
So a key point is that it's only with the release of documents over the last 3 weeks or so that it's been possible to see these emails between Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein forwarding confidential government information. And that's central to the investigation now into the former prince. One thing that's become clear to me as I've talked to British people is that the support for the monarchy remains strong. People support how King Charles has been handling this because his key statement has been to support the investigation, cooperate in any way he can. The people that I've spoken to are not withdrawing support from the institution of the monarchy. In fact, they're still strongly in favour of it. So I think some of those claims about support in the long term for the monarchy, you've got to be careful and take them with a grain of salt at this stage.